And we are live. Welcome everyone to another Apollo Justice Ace Attorney live stream as we are on the fourth and final episode. And we're going to get into the past today from at least what I've seen in the walkthrough. And what I've seen is essentially the fact that it says that we're going into the past. That's all I know. I don't entirely remember what happened, but going to the walkthrough and double checking where I'm supposed to be, I remembered things. So, I'm good, I think. Jaren, how's your Thursday going? Let me also get you guys over on the right side. Get us into this. Oh, and also reminder, we're doing a jurist system. I remember fucking Pheonix told us we're doing a jurist system. So the jury gotta like what we're fucking spilling now. We gotta impress people. I am not very good at that. We know this. Fuck. I don't know what attacked me, but something did. Alright, I think I'm all good for everything. Let me mute. Get the in-game audio going. There's none going right now, but that is fine. Alright. Oh. Also, by the way, I have recorded all the remaining games for Texarkana Season 1. And trying to think. Yeah, most of them are pretty good down the stretch, so. Yeah. Tomorrow's video, it's a pretty good game. Monday's video is a game. Wednesday's video, it's a game you gotta watch. You gotta watch all of them. They're all good. And I will say this, I don't like how schools decided to attack, some of the prospects I was recruiting in week fucking 13. I hate it. I hate it. It upsets me so much. I went from being pretty confident about some recruits to, we're going to lose half of the guys I wanted. So, yeah. Yeah. The offseason is going to be very interesting, whether it's Friday or Saturday. The offseason is going to be very interesting when it comes to recruiting, because we have a lot of holes to fill. And, yeah. Alright. With that, let's get back to things. Oh yeah, you were I forgot you were the client. I forgot we were trying to get our boy Apollo. Forgot about that. I can't believe I forgot about that. I shouldn't be forgetting things like that that are important. Good morning. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Chusy. Chusy Wright. That's right with a W. But not right. Right? You're very talkative, Vera. I saw that they signed Colton Miller to a 3-year extension. The Raiders are doing a lot of the hard work for me, and I appreciate it. Like, they're not a team that needs to be, quote-unquote, rebuilt. So, like, I wasn't looking at it that way. But they're really doing a lot of the hard work going into the franchise for me. Right? I don't have to worry about left tackle. I don't have to worry about the offensive setup. I don't have to worry about the things I like on defense, really. They took care of a lot of the shit I have to do early on to fit my style of play. I took care of that real quick. Really, all I gotta do is make sure we have a defensive tackle to fill in for Christian Wilkins, and maybe a future middle linebacker. Probably in the second, some work in the secondary as well, depending on how guys play. But that's about it. That's about it. They took care of almost everything else. We'll see how things play out once the game drops. We'll see how things play out. Oh, and I will say, if we do win the World Series in the next season for White Sox, we might transition to Madden after MLB. We might do that. It's either that or we go back to Cleveland, one of the two, probably. We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please. Barry, you know, there needs to be some type of, like, conversation between defendant and client. Just thought I'd let you know that. She fucking spoke. She speaks! Good morning. I have played far too many visual novels. My brain is ingrained with visual novels. Genius. I know how the script goes. Phillies acquired Harrison Bader from the Twins. Damn, Twins are selling. The Johan Duran trade. Now they're getting rid of Harrison Bader. And to the Phillies as well. Like, that's 2 trades to the Phillies now. Man. They selling. Not bad. But I think you'd do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Guys, don't shit talk her stuff. Don't shit talk her. The network says a Stephen Kwan trade today is highly likely. I mean, that's been the name. We saw Shane Bieber get traded to the Blue Jays, so gotta keep our eyes on Stephen Kwan, see where he goes. And Scarlett's gonna be pissed. It's already mad enough with Shane Bieber getting traded. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. There she goes with nail polish again. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Wanna try? Ooh, really? Girls. Am I right, guys? Yeah. The victim, Drew Measham, was a forger, and a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime. Really? And maybe one that led to his death. October 8th, 8 a.m. Or, I'm sorry, October 8th, 10 a.m. This isn't live, is it? Direct courtroom number 3. Well, we will now begin the trial of Veramisham.
Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy.
His voice is always raspy, Trucy.
And he's looking around all nervous like.
The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. He was Dracula, that's what he was. I was like, I couldn't remember Clavier's voice for a second. Today is a test of the jury system, and the first step toward the new order in our courts.
That is secret mission.
The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. You mean to tell me that the jurists are just sitting back watching CCTV? Really? That's how we're doing this? You couldn't put them front and center? I feel like this is a bad idea. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists judge well and judge cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. Ah, my apologies, Head Judge. Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. We're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter, Drew Misha. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? That would be the easiest way to get me. Just poison some coffee. Like, you do that, I'm dead. I'm gone. Easy. Now, I will say this. If somebody just showed up and handed me some coffee, I'm sus. If I don't know you and you're just popping up being like, hey, I got you a cup of coffee, I'm going to be like, what'd you do to it? How many roofies you put in it? Now, if I'm at home and magically somebody poisons my coffee, then I'm fucked. You know? That'd be a weak spot for me. I get it. By none other than the defendant, Veramisha. There wasn't any poison in the coffee. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that right. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug! Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of the victim's death. UFO confirmed a Columbus team, pretty much. That would make sense. Ohio getting a team makes sense. That was one of the few I was like, okay, makes sense. College town. I get that one. Also an NFL state, you know. That one makes sense. Oh, Jared, how about the A's trade? Trading Mason Miller and JP Sears. They got a massive return on that. Oh wow, the baseball trade value Twitter account does not like the Blue Jays Guardians trade for Shane Bieber. Shit, Josh Allen's a 90 in man? Fuck yeah. Think I'm good. Yep. The court wrong voice. The court accepts this as evidence. Okay. 9 to 9:30. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning. I still can't pronounce that. A chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. Are you telling me, Gavin, that you went and got yourself a simple kind of man? A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. You been watching the Orioles screw over the MLB? You've been, the O's are doing the weird trading. Like, they're selling, but they're not selling? Like, that's what they're doing? And the Angels decided to buy but not buy? Because they really didn't trade off anything to get 2 relievers? So, trading no-buy players that were leaving after the year anyway for prospects. Yep. That journalist, no doubt. I will say the Angels are still in a weird spot, man. 4 games back of the wild card. And you play a lot of the teams that you have to fight for that wild card spot after the trade deadline. It's a really weird thing. Oh yeah, Jen, how do you feel about Cam Ward's Madden rating? I didn't even know the presidential fitness test got taken out of public schools. It seems really fucking pointless. Because if we're supposed to keep up with what the president can do, I feel like we don't have to do anything. Like, children are more athletic than the president is, just by being children. I don't feel like that's a thing. Screwing him a bit. I will say I didn't expect him to be that low. I thought at the highest he'd be like 75. Because I get him not being very high. I'm shocked that they have guys in the 80s. I'm very surprised at that. I thought like the highest we were going to see is like a 79. Maybe an 80, but like... I get Travis Hunter's rating being high because you're essentially giving him 2 skill sets. So he's going to have a high rating. But like... 71's a little low for Cam Ward. A little low. I do think he's probably going to have X Factor with that low of a rating. So that's the balance point. But yeah. Repo? Who the fuck's he? I don't know who the fuck this guy is. But apparently the UFL has another owner. Anybody who thought the UFL was gonna die quickly is wrong. They've got a lot of money now. Really? Teuton's got a high... That's a bit surprising that Teuton's got a higher grade than fucking Ward. That's a bit surprising. Mason Graham's an 80? Bruh. Teuton's 75, Ward's 72. That's a little high for Teuton. Are we going back to the days of where 99s are pretty easy to get? Because that's what it feels like now. They're adjusting those ratings a little too much. Teuton being a 75, I think, is a little much. Isn't RJ Harvey a 73? Caleb Ransol's got a higher rating too? God damn. Cam Ward better have X Factor. Okay, I get kickers having higher ratings than Cam Ward. Because you've only got 2 skill sets. If you're not good at kicking, you're going to have a bad rating. Like, literally the only rating I think that can really affect kickers outside of kick power and accuracy is awareness. So, I get the kicker having a higher rating than Cam Ward. I mean, that makes sense. That actually, from a talent level, that makes sense. Awareness should be lower, probably, but, you know. The witness will state his name and occupation.
Right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Bruchel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
Can't believe immediately I remembered his voice. In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Bruchel. I think it's Bruchel, but...
I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make a peak sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true. Yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today, a man with a dream.
Despite Shador being the bottom quarterback in Cleveland. I mean, I think there's a handful of reasons he's the bottom quarterback in Cleveland. And I don't think most of them have to do anything with talent. Fans are rioting that Jalen Hurts has an 86 overall and A.J. Brown was wide receiver 8 in overall. I don't see why they're complaining. 86 is a high overall in Madden. Like, you're a top-tier quarterback at 86. I don't get why you'd be mad about that. Hell, there's only one quarterback in the 99 club this year, and that's Josh Allen, so... Do we have to point out that Saquon is the major reason they went? Like, don't get me wrong, Hurts had a good year, but the dude on the cover's the reason. I will say A.J. Brown should have probably been receiver 5. He probably could have gone up a tiny bit.
But you must understand, I stand before you today. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Bruchel into that Mr. Bruchel. End quote.
Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, say Gavin. For me, the jury is still out. Alright. Dodgers are making offers for Stephen Kwan. Of course they are, because they're the Dodgers. Oh, did you see Shohei cramped up? I will say, cramps are very suspicious. Very suspicious to say cramps. Like, I'm not saying Shohei needs to be investigated for betting, but I am saying that it's just suspicious sounding. I think he probably actually did cramp up, but, you know. Dodgers just got Brock Stewart from the Twins. Dear Lord, man. Trades are moving crazy now. So much trade movement now. It's all happening so fast. Oh, did Giancarlo Stanton really hit already? Nice. Oh, that's one already. Alright, well that's nice. I only need one more to at least make some money back today. That would be nice. We play in the middle of a doubleheader. When the Blue Jays brought out that player pitch in the second game. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Who was it? Sir Anthony Dominguez, right? Where is... I'm trying to... Alright. There we go. I'm just getting Jeff Passan's Twitter page up to keep track of trades at this point. I mean, they've got somebody in the back to make jerseys, I'm sure, real quick. I saw Amir Abdullah. I didn't see him sign Callaway. I saw Isabella. I didn't see Carter Bradley, so... Niners making a couple of signings.
I visited the studio around 9 p.m. that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the altar. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next. Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
As they always do, Jan. As they always do. It does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
What are you saying, Judge?
Need I remind you the cameras are rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. Gonna add that to my fanfic. You didn't do it, did you?
a thing like that. Come on. That's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. Yeah, I know. Wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Ha, 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 ha. Rock, indeed.
Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun.
Oh, I'm so excited for Trey Lance versus Kyle Allen tonight. So excited. It's going to be so much fun. No Hendon Hooker tonight? I wanted Hendon Hooker. I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice. Cross-examination, please. Both QB3s and F starts. Yeah. Alright, let's press the nerd. 9 p.m. at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview?
If the great painter Drew Misham says, come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9.
That's...
The first, and as it turned out, last interview with such a prolific painter.
Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? Bro has the Killing Joke smile. He does, doesn't he? He does. This man's written to tell you that it just takes one bad day. You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio. Oh.
Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. A basically insignificant step for all mankind. But a giant step for that Brussels guy, end quote.
No one on the outside ever had access to the studio. It would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So how did this epoch-making interview go? Would you mind being a little more specific?
Ooh, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade.
We made the Killing Joke joke here, and this man started to go down the Heath Ledger Joker route. Even vocally, I started to go into it.
It all started when I was in 3rd grade. My father gave me a taste of a cup of Joe. You want to know how I got these burns?
I believe I know what their forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it?
Right. That's what I was going to say, really.
Now I just want to make this man Heath Ledger, but he's not Heath Ledger. This man doesn't deserve that.
Well, now if you've got a question to ask, you'd best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the new recruits, several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto.
Stephen King, this man is not.
Which isn't to say I can only write for a grade schooler. Who touched the coffee?
I love that it's just like, not to say I can't write for a grade schooler. Who touched the coffee, man?
Don't know. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it.
After all of that, that's what we get. After all of that, just a
don't know.
I hate this man. I hate him. I hate him. Why did I get it? Hey, who's texting me? That's who. Okay, that's what I expected. I'm out. I'm out. What is happening? Do not tell me two guys have already homered. You can't tell me that I've already got 2 homers done. Oh, no, never mind. That's just that. Never mind. I thought someone else homer, and I was about to be like, what? Only 1 game's on. And I think I've only got... How many guys do I have in that game? Let's find out. Let's find out how many guys I have in the Yankees game, because I don't remember. Ooh, that's not a good start. I need 3 more strikeouts out of you, sir. Oh, I still need Junior to homer in that one, but that can happen. Nick Cody. Huh. So if Belly and Junior hit, I'm happy. What's this about a star falling?
Star falls. Huh. It's like an old telegram. Send money. Over. Zowie! You don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes. Important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it? There's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really.
Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff. Good stuff. I went into a little bit of Mickey there. I don't know why. How about star breaks? Nah, it lacks punch. I know. Star dies. Nah, it lacks imagination. Of course, you can go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it.
Oh, the Astros are also in on Steven Kwan? Of course they are. Of fucking course they are. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd rather him go to the Dodgers. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. I will say, there's a trophy for asking about something in this chapter, and I don't remember what it is. I looked at the trophies just to get an idea if I could get one. I'm gonna do it right now. Trophies. Show me the trophy. Episode 4. Yep. Oh yeah, we also have to play in one of the available costumes. I forgot about that. Ah, that's what it is. We have to choose guilty as the jurist. That's what it is. Yep, that's what it is. Alright. Give me the moment of death. About when Mr. Measham passed away.
Oh boy, what a scene that was. He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes. And then?
Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch, he could be naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go. I think he's starting his article already.
Could you describe that a little more simply? The Columbus IFL team will play at the Crew Stadium, former home to the MLS Columbus Crew. Okay, that's cool. Or okay, the UFL team. Yeah, okay. I would think a soccer stadium is the best area where they can have a decent crowd and also keep the price point where it needs to be. I mean, Washington's a perfect thing for that.
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure is final performance, end quote.
Arthroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a ball. The limbs tremble. That's quite enough of that. I am gonna put it in my fanfic, though. It's very, very descriptive and gruesome, but that's good for readers. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Arthroquinine, My Love, by the Gavaneers, available at all major music outlets. He hit a fucking quote here. Yeah, he's fucking marketing himself. Just so happens Detroit has a soccer stadium. It's like a good way to keep the Panthers in Michigan. Yeah, if they don't want to do Ford Field. I will say, lucky for the UFL, St. Louis is football starved, and the Battlehawk faithful will fill out that fucking dome. The point here is that the victim died of arthroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Abandoned love spring teams. It's hyped during the AFL. Yeah. That's why it's good to go to places with no NFL team. Or places that have lost an NFL team. Let's go not important. Just see. You'd think the moment of Mr. Measham's death would be important. But Mr. Bush's story really didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. Very well. Please continue with the testimony. Alright. So yeah. We can load in this spot. And I can go with Brushell's coffee. So you drank the coffee the bearer served you too.
Of course, when someone serves you coffee, you drink it.
Only if I know the person. And even then, I'm a little sus.
That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though.
But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die. We get to see DJ Uyunglele tonight on the Chargers in the second half. Oh my god. That's what I'm excited for. I can't wait to watch DJ Uwe Ungalale suck. Like, he's gonna not be good. We know he's gonna not look good. I mean, it's DJ Uwe Ungalale. He went to a team with better talent and looked worse. How does that happen?
Of course not. No point falling before you're a star. End quote.
That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the ring, not in the coffee.
Oh, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side.
No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess. Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important? I would say no, so we're gonna reload. He stayed at such high-profile schools. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like his best place was Oregon State. That felt like the right fit for him. From a talent to, like, divisional aspect. That's where he could look good. Why he decided to go to Florida State, I do not understand. You didn't do well in the ACC at Clemson. Why go back to the ACC? You say Mr. Measham had the coffee too. But did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yet? I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. A man puts lips to mug, drinks. End quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear.
My stomach did a so-called somersault, since I'd gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess? For the record.
Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? I did. The fact that he only took a sip. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over.
Oh, yes. You can go to press with that one.
Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony.
Vital. Right.
So he either took a sip, or he didn't, and then fell over?
Oh, yes. Indubitably. Just like that. Wham! Bam!
So Mr. Measham drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Brusho's telling the truth, too. Should I get him to talk about something else? Okay, so apparently I can change things up here. Alright. The throat burns. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and add that. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add to the testimony. Very well.
Those spasms. That was definitely death by poison.
You say it was definitely death by poison. Now, how can you be so sure?
Hey, look. I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye. End quote. His name was Chaz Princeton. Food poisoning doesn't count. Should we get him to talk about something else? Like, we already saw the one thing, and that's this spot.
See that? There, that's poison.
Yeah. Don't lick it.
Don't lick it, Apollo.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
No, you won't. You'll die.
Look, I know. I meant I won't lick it.
Who knows what you do when I'm not watching?
Concern is touching, really. Next thing you know, she'll be telling me not to drink coffee before bedtime. How dare she do that? Okay, there's nothing here that really does anything. Is there anything? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Apollo, this painting. I know it.
Huh? Really?
It's that story where the old woman is doing the wash in the river. This giant peach comes up floating on down.
That might possibly be the strangest thing I have ever heard. And his name is Apollo Justice. Looks like you have to take this back part off first to put a photo inside.
It'd have to be a really small photo to fit in there.
True. And that pale bluish stain. Why would there be poison on something like that?
Well, there's one obvious reason. Whoever put poison in the coffee rubbed a bit on here too.
That's not very obvious, Trucy. Well, what do we have here? Looks like a person thinking about something.
Maybe they're worried.
Like, what should I have for supper? A hot dog or a hamburger?
You know, I always wondered about that. Why is there supper and dinner? Are they different meals or the same thing?
Maybe that's what this person's thinking about. Okay. No clues here. No clues here. Is that a pufferfish?
Apollo, that's clearly a porcupine fish.
They're not the same thing. Or they're not the same thing?
You know what gets me? They've got all these needles, right? But what's protecting that soft spot on the lower belly there? Nothing.
Must remember to keep Trucy away from small round fish. Good.
This rough sketch is only half hidden by the oil painting.
I'll never understand artists.
Still, it's impressive. I wouldn't think you could hide such a dark sketch under a light painting. Under a light paint.
Well, it is called oil paint for a reason. I'll bet it's pretty oily. The paint, I mean.
Still waiting for you to get to your point.
Alright, thought maybe there'd be something on the back of one of these. Feel like we didn't see. Okay. I still don't really know. Just go with what we have for now. Can you say that for sure?
For sure. Sure. I'm sure. Drew Studio isn't a big place, kiddo. I know it if someone else had come in.
What if they had been hiding in there from before? Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing.
You think I, Spark of Brushel, would miss something as obvious as that? No way! Sure makes it sound exciting. I guess that's his job.
There's only one moment we really need to focus on, really.
The moment when Drew Measham died?
Exactly. There has to be something there. Yep. Like, the spasms are what I don't understand, because it's, or at least, fucking Gavin said that fits. But I don't... I'm gonna save this real quick, because I don't know if this is actually gonna work or not. I'll go over my reasoning here in a second. Because the only thing I can think about that makes sense for this... Yeah, okay, it wasn't gonna work. So, my thought process was... They call it slow acting, but there's only a 30-minute time window. Now, I'm not saying that is quick-acting poison, but it doesn't seem like it would be slow-acting poison. Is there any way I can look at the coffee to figure out how much was drank? No? Okay.
time out. Wait a minute. I actually think I might know what I have to do now. I don't know if I'm right on this, but I've got an idea. Mr. Krabs, I have an idea.
Wait, was I right? Did my brain really just function properly? Oh, no. 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 Okay. I didn't talk it out. I didn't talk it out solely because I really was not sure if this was going to work. I looked at the coffee cup, and the one thing that started to confuse me is the fact that we do not see any prints of him actually taking a drink. And there is one little bit of poison right here. If that's the case, the whole rim would have been poisoned. Not just one little specific spot. We would have caught poison on the entire rim. I can't believe I actually was right on a thought process to figure this shit out. I was so close to going to the walkthrough. I was very close to going to the walkthrough. And then I looked at the cup again. Bad things are totally gonna happen. Bad things are 150% about to happen. I'm just getting back to where I was. There we go. This is where I am. So. Dear Lord, the Yankees are killing this man. There is a murder happening in the Bronx. And sadly, Cody Bellinger didn't hit a homer yet. Is he even in the order? Like, now I just need to know. I just need to know if he's in the game. Mr. Krabs, I have an idea. Yep. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is, because he's got a single. He's got an RBI single to his name. Well, I've got a feeling I'm not going to make this one parlay, which would have made all my money back. It was just two guys. Pepito is getting absolutely brutalized right now. Let's see, any new trades? Nope. All right. Jacoby Myers is in extension talks. That's my boy. You know what? I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used. Atroquinine. I still don't know how to accurately pronounce it, and I don't care. Oh, and Prosecutor Gavitt was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission. Artroquinine is as virulent as he says. But death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because it's a slow-acting poison. My brain was right on the slow-acting thought, too. Cool. My brain was right on the slow-acting idea. So I was right on two separate situations. I just had to fuse those together, and I would have been 100% right. I was like 75% right. According to one forensic scientist, "15 minutes. Yeah, that's why it's 9 to 9:30. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Measham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Oh my god, I hated that. Am I the only one who hated that shot of the back of the journalist? He looked like he was straight out of Baldi's Basics. I hated that. Oh, that was the worst thing so far. That was fucking nightmare fuel. No. Just no. Ugh. Well, the Rays are trying to come back. They got two in scoring position. No outs. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? What the defense says is correct. Why? Why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard. Well, Mr. Bruchel, anything to say? On the record?
Slow acting. Slowwact. It was virulent, all right. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop.
Objection!
It's Bruchel, yeah? Herr Bruchel. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital.
You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion, end quote.
I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you said he did. I would be forced to say, Auf Wiedersehen, to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article.
Come again?
You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? As the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye.
Scoop! Scoop! Look, wait, just wait a second. Just 1 second!
We're waiting! We're waiting! Out with it!
I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote.
Attorney utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I'd heard of poison that takes its sweet time. See?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say.
Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned the coffee.
Dash, welcome to the stream, man. How's your Thursday going? Also, I have to do commentary at some point tonight after this, and I feel like his voice, worse than anybody else's, is gonna kill my vocal cords. I don't like it. I hate that shot. He's creepy looking from the back. Order! 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 As far as I can tell, the witness is standing on his business. That Mr. Measham died the instant after his drink.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony, and my dream of exclusive rights to this story.
I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him. Him? Pheonix, right. Who else? Herr Bruschel, report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the juris system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. Yes, we are still at the who poisoned the coffee phase. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. I mean, we were taking a little bit of time at one point to look at Twitter and trades that are happening in Major League Baseball, so, yeah. Excuse me. That was a burp and a half. No, I accidentally went too far. There we go. Yandy Diaz was pulled randomly during the game. Oh, I think that means Diaz is booted. They're getting rid of him. Oh, you also missed a big brain moment where I was about to go to the walkthrough and then I figured something out to some degree. Alright.
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Measham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
A suicide note.
Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Meacham. Meesham. Whatever. But that means Bear's innocent.
Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview?
Oh.
I take offense to the broken clock comment there, Dash, but you know what? You're not wrong. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination. Alright. Well, I mean, you are dead wrong on him committing suicide. That's definite. Yep. That's exactly what it was. Okay. Well, we should, just because we should press, but I think I already know what I'm doing here. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Measham?
Well, his daughter Vera, of course.
Was anyone besides Mr. Measham and Vera present?
Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
Thanks, Dr. Seuss. The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brugiel?
I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic ransom phenomenon ploy.
Ramsden phenomenon ploy. End quote. You intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect. I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting the assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move on, shall we? So he put the letter away when he saw you.
Early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret.
I'm not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns. The door opens. I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really?
Mr. Measham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one.
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice, I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. That's the testimony. Yes, Claviers turned into Dracula, because that's the way the voice kept going, so he's now Dracula. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor. Very well. Please add to the testimony, then.
Well, why not? My account comes free of charge.
And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with the letter?
Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw.
Apollo, you think this might be our big break? Yeah. What I need is to show some decisive evidence now. Well, the German/Russian is what became Dracula. Because that's where my voice just kept going to.
Objection!
As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope.
What? Oh, God.
I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy at all. He scares me. This dude scares the shit out of me. I don't like this guy at all, man. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But, Airford, it's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brusher,
I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope. Pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away.
and what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claims? That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. Just because I feel like there's a chance I'm definitely wrong on this. That's impossible. I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with, the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Measham. Oh! Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped! Fucking Baldi's basic. I don't like it. He looks too, like, claymated for the animation. I don't like it. While everyone else is artistically drawn in, he looks like clay, and I hate it. It's weird. Order! 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 Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh, my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel.
Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Measham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote.
Oh, they totally did. They totally did make him as strange as possible. A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, to mail his letter. What else? And then, why yes, I think I saw him put it in his letterbox. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box.
Well, apparently, this yellow...
Oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story! Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. Falls. End quote.
As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said, yes, Your Honor, it makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
I would say so.
So this was from 7 years ago. Yeah.
So, am I finished? Here. Yeah, I mean, am I finished here? Yeah, I was thinking of, you know, going home to start writing.
I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face.
Ah, come on! Attorney has active imagination. Who else? End quote.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Judge has active imagination. End quote.
Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story.
Hey, I'm the one asking questions here. Usually. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview. End quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare.
So you threatened to go to press with this story. That's how you got your interview. Blackmail.
Well, yes. I mean, no. No. It wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not.
Something wrong, Mr. Brusham.
Look. This is my story. My tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood. End quote.
I see.
While you have me chatting away in here, what's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsmith or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story?
Drew's talent is becoming clear. Oh no, we know his talent.
They could be going to press while I'm going to waste.
The court feels your pain, Mr. Brusham. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case, 7 years ago. Wait. 7 years ago? Oh. We get to perceive things. Alright. First, of course, we gotta press him on everything. The victim, Drew Measham, had an aversion to reporters?
Boy, I guess. Not even my considerable charms did much for him. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is.
Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us. Exactly what sort of story was this?
Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between, end quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing. Honest.
So, a suggestion was enough to get an interview? Mr. Measham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. A certain case 7 years ago. Tell us, What case?
Oh, let me say one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Why not?
It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalist reveals sources only over his dead body. End quote. And what it'll be? So what it'll be?
He sounds pretty determined not to talk.
Our chances of breaking his will ain't looking good. That red envelope probably had something to do with that.
On the one hand, we have our story, and on the other hand, this letter. What makes you think the two are related?
Oh, I was just saying it's possible.
They might have, I don't know. But I will say that trade was absolutely insanity. You get one of the best young closers in baseball out of it. I'm shocked that Mick Abel was able to be that big of a piece in that trade. Really. I did not think the Twins would pull the trigger on trading Johan Duran. That I'm very surprised about. I mean, they do get a young guy with potential, but still.
Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You going to pick all of them apart? Be my guest.
All of them? No. Just the incredibly suspicious ones. It's baseball. 27 is young. You realize we're talking baseball here, where pitchers will throw till they're 40 fucking 5 and still be elite. 27 is young. Like in the games, 30 starts to age them a bit, but like in reality, some guys don't hit their peak till 30 something. Yep. Look at Verlander. Dude's taking a number of steps back, but he's still a solid arm. I think football world, 27's getting old. You're getting up there in football terms. Baseball terms, you haven't hit your peak yet. In baseball terms, you're still a real youngin'. No, he's not one Tommy John's away from death. No, not at 27, because that'll only keep you out a year. And he's young enough that he can probably bounce back from a Tommy John's. Now, if you're in your 30s and you get Tommy John's, yeah, that's the down part of your career. You better hope you can be a reliever or a solid enough closer at that point. But yeah, that's normally the end of that point. I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Measham? Just how amazing was Mr. Measham's talent?
Huh? Hooey boy, I mean. Hey, he's a star, man. A star. The flow of his brush is like a great, undulating river across the canvas. Artist paints lights up studio like sun, end quote. This guy is full of wacky gestures. That one just now was wackier than usual. You looked kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you-know-what. That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. I wonder what this story he's talking about is. Must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that.
Nothing powerful enough to drag Mr. Measham out. Something powerful enough to drag Mr. Drew Measham out of hiding. God, I can't read. I wonder. Maybe it had something to do with Mr. Measham's art. So that's them being like, hey, this is what you look into. Alright. Here again. I thought it was going to be him tapping his head. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't see anything. Huh. No, I'm good. I don't need a hint right now. Anything different here unless it's... Hear it again. So I can stick to some points. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. What? I don't think this is gonna be it either, but you know. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's definitely one of those two. I just don't know what I'm looking for. Well, it might have been this too. No, I don't think he made any movements.
Hold it!
Whoops, I did not mean to hit that. It's definitely that one. I just don't know what I'm looking for. Like, I'm just trying to get an idea of what to look at. Let's see if he gulps at all. No. Here again. Is there like a twitch in the arm or something? Nope. Huh. Alright. Dash, you can give me a hint if you want. I'm not gonna check the walkthrough just yet. No new info just yet. Check something real quick. Holy shit. Rays came firing back. Holy hell. Damn it, he got 4 strikes. Fuck. I don't know what that part was. Alright. Again. I don't see what I'm looking for here. Yeah, I don't see anything with his shirt. I thought maybe he might be tugging on his tie or something, but I don't see it. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna go to the walkthrough and just see what they say it is. Which, fun fact, this is near the end of it. Nice. Alright. Really? That? Oh, I would not have gotten that. Are you telling me that there's a fucking pit stain? I would have never gotten that. I would never gotten that. A fucking pit stain. I figured like, okay, he probably like tugs his tie or something like that. If it was the shirt. I like the hint though. Dash, that's the way to give me a hint. You put me in the area, I just never thought about like a pit stain. I was thinking tie or tugs on the collar or something. Good hint. Good hint. Mr. Brushel, you're hiding something. Don't yell all of a sudden, all right. Don't yell all of a sudden like that. You'll give a guy a heart attack. Sorry, it's just
the way you were moving just now, it was particularly suspicious. What's that supposed to mean? So unusual. So usually I'm just sort of averagely suspicious?
Sorry. My mistake.
You're fine. I know I'm onto something here. Time to focus.
Oh, I just hit it at the wrong time, I think.
Gotcha!
There we go. There we go. I got it.
Sweat much, Mr. Bruchel? Well, yeah, a man can't help his glands, you know.
It's more than that. When Mr. Meesham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. Also, with that, I would have expected maybe like a sweat droplet on his head, possibly. That would have been something I would have thought if it was going to be sweat related. You're hiding something about his talent.
What? That's ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Meesham's true talent lay. Just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in the letter.
I can't help but wonder what the court is supposed to conclude from this evidence.
Oh. Okay, so it's the other one. I thought it was the one that he forged, but okay. It's the original. Got it.
Man burns bridge, forgets to cross first, end quote.
Let's try that again. All I have to do is reveal what Mr. Meesham really was. That shouldn't be so hard, right? I mean, it's hard when I think the talent level is him copying instead of this one. This painting was found in Mr. Meesham's studio. Wait a minute. Let me see if I'm right on what I should have gotten here. No? Okay, never mind. I thought there was a signature on each painting. And that's why my brain was like, okay, that's where I fucked up. I forgot that he signs his, and the one that I should show isn't the one that he signed. But, yeah. There aren't any signatures, so never mind. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Meesham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000. I don't know your prospects well enough to know if that's a good trade. Actually, there's one way to find out. There's one way to kind of find out. And that is baseball trade values. Let's find out. Okay. So they say it's fine. The trade values is expected to be fine. The Rangers in exchange for cash. Okay. I don't know, like, how half of these really work all that well, so, Which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. I mean, most guys people trade for are going to be rentals. You're not going to get a lot of guys being traded outside of, Duran, guys like that. The bigger names that aren't going to be rentals. That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please, everyone! Can we please keep this private? Please? This is my story, my scoop.
Forgery. That's a serious crime.
Drew Measham is known as an artist these days.
Being better than Marsh. Marsh did do pretty well yesterday in a homer.
But there were rumors he dabbled in other kinds of art until a few years back.
Other art? Meaning forgery?
Drew Measham was talented, all right. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about...
Exactly! I'm talking about forging evidence. The rumors started circulating 7 years ago.
7 years ago? So are we to understand that this letter... This payment of $100,000 was for...
Exactly. Forged evidence. Forged evidence nets tidy profit. End quote.
I hate the back of that dude. He looks like... he does not fit. Order! 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 Why, it's like our victim was living a double life.
This is my chance.
So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies. We know nothing about it. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we concluded our investigation. I mean, I would think Castellanos would still play in the outfield so you can have all of them in the lineup at once, but, Schwarber, I think, is now more of your stationary DH. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here. But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remained simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course.
Hey! The only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
I feel like his voice has changed very much from the nerd to, like, now just being whatever the fuck he is. Mr. Bruchel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen.
What are you talking about? My journalism is perfect. Journalism so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. We can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap. The trial is over.
Apollo, what's he talking about?
Cross-examination showed Mr. Bruchel didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera. That's what.
This next testimony is our last chance.
Mr. Bruchel, your testimony, please.
The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
A nice testimony. Clear. Succinct. And without room for doubt.
Ah, shucks. You really think so?
Believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination. Right. I still have one trump card left to play. I won't let this trial end until I use it. Alright. Let me make sure, in case I need it, I'm at the right spot. Alright. But that doesn't prove Vera poisoned it. How many times have we heard that one Air Forte? The poison reached its victim via the coffee mug. From where did that coffee come? Not to beat a dead horse again and again, but perhaps you could fill us in.
I'm on it. You need a horse beat. I'm your man.
That's not a good thing, man. And you witnessed her pouring the coffee.
Of course I didn't witness it. When she came in with that tray, the coffee was already poured and is steaming.
Let us not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed. Get a migraine? Okay, Jaron, take care of yourself, man. Get some sleep. Chill out, relax, get some sleep. See you tomorrow, man. Still got Dash here. He'll be the annoying one for me, don't worry. He'll make sure to shit on me for my terrible decisions. What? Ah, ha, 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 ha. That last part was just a little joke. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with this coffee mug. I need to find another weak spot in this case. You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
One of those candies might have been poisoned. If at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. This is how I beat this case the first time. Oh, look at you. Okay. Okay. Oh, good to know I'm not the only one using the walkthrough. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof, the possibility is there. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. Not yet. The possibility isn't going to cut it. Not now. Mr. Measham ingested that poison via a route other than that coffee. I mean, the tiny frame is the only other thing we have. So... I mean, I think that's the only thing we can go with. So we gonna save. And we gotta see if I'm right on this. I've been wrong playing today. Proof is possible. Gotta risk it. Risk it for the biscuit, Justice.
Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence. What evidence shows that the victim wasn't poisoned via his coffee mug?
Must I explain this over and over and over? We don't need possibilities here for it. We need proof. I know that. You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early.
Can tell you what we know at this point. Victim put nothing to his mouth, but that coffee mug.
Another hole in this case that needs plugging before I can prove anything. But first things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again. Okay. So it's just, that's not the right time to do it. Not one thing? You're sure?
Yep, sure I sure can be. Well, with one exception.
One exception? What?
And journalist Spark Brushel does interview, leave studio. End quote. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny? I know. But still.
Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before?
Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left that studio that night?
Not a thing. I'm not sure yet. Can't think of a single thing. If anything did leave, wouldn't Mr. Brushel have noticed?
That I would. That I would. Nothing left, save myself, of course.
Say that again and you'll be held in contempt of court.
Need to check something. Okay. I was just double checking the statements on some of this stuff.
Let's get back to the cross-examination then.
Well, we'll see what the other thing is. You say clearly as though it were obvious. But this claim that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture.
Ah, yes, well, you see. In my business, it's all about making the most ridiculous things sound right. A bad habit, I know. Yes, well, actually, I guess this is more a case of ridiculous journalist sounds wrong, end quote.
The court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from wild conjecture.
Understood loud and clear.
If only I could believe that.
What do you think, Apollo? Everything he says seems so not flawed.
Well, that's kind of what you really want from a really. What Well, that's kind of what you want from a testimony, really. Need to keep my eye on what matters. How and why was Drew Measham killed? Vera poured the coffee. That's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, I need to find what did. Prove it. Alright. So given they said I was early, I'd assume this is it. Give me the choice here. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene.
By which you mean?
Something,
Or by which you mean something other than a witness?
of course.
Don't tell me.
Vera Measham. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional.
Then let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice.
Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene. I find Prosecutor Gavin more amusing than this guy, really.
If that was comic relief, why do I not feel amused? We want evidence, not entertainment, Mr. Justice.
There goes my career in stand-up. Wait, did I not click on the right thing? Wait, unless it's the letterbox, which I don't think it is. Yeah, okay. I just, for some reason, that's not it. Okay, I thought that was it. And looky here, a handwritten signature. It says, I can't read it. That seems odd to me. I mean, isn't a signature intended to show ownership? What's the use if no one can read it? Isn't it enough if you can read your own? Oh, I never thought of it that way. So the only thing I can think I'm trying to use my brain before I go with anything here. And I also want to double check something. That doesn't look anything like the signature on the back of this. No, not really. Okay, good. Good to know. I double checked that real quick. The letterbox is the only thing that makes sense here. Because you can prove that to a point. Unless I'm probably overthinking this entirely. Oh, okay. Alright. I thought I was overthinking it with the letterbox being like the only other thing that makes sense to show something was gone, but... Alright. This is the only link between the studio and the outside world. A letterbox. What did Mr. Bushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that. And yeah, it was true. Furthermore, he went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Oh, but that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. My voice decided to jump around there. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh?
Here's a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Measham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me.
Very well then. The witness will add this to his testimony.
You got it. I still think this fails to change anything at her forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. It's exactly the opening I've been looking for. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from the studio. And you were hiding that fact from us.
Yes, well, actually...
I don't argue the possibility that the letter disappeared from the studio. But therefore, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right. How Mr. Measham was poisoned. I know. But Mr. Bushel's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now. Starting to think.
Let's keep thinking, Apollo.
You say clearly as though it were obvious. Oh, I already did this one. Yep. Never mind, I already did this one. I'm pretty sure I know now what the situation is. Maybe. This is me. Hopefully not overthinking it. Let's save real quick before I present. If a letter left, it had to do with this. That's the only thing that makes any sense. And I do wonder if this had to do with this.
Objection!
Okay. So now, let me try my second thought process here. Okay, that's wrong too. Damn. Okay, what am I missing? What am I missing? What the fuck am I missing in this? Here, I'm gonna listen to what he says again. I'm just gonna read it myself instead of reading it out loud. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, now, where does that fit? If things are changing meanings. Not yet. Not yet. I will say, my brain is stuck on the fact that the poison is in one specific spot on the mug. And that's why my brain is in kind of this zone of, like, how do we get from that to where the poison is in that 2x2 frame? I'm gonna throw a shot in the dark here. And if I'm right on this, I'm gonna feel extremely happy about it. But I'm throwing a shot in the dark on this one. Yeah, okay, I wasn't right on that one. I didn't think I was gonna be right, but I wanted to just check it off. I wanted to check it off. Because I was like, if there's a picture in there and that picture is covered with the poison, then maybe that's how the poison gets on his lips. He takes a sip of coffee. It's already been in his system for a bit, and that's why he collapses quickly. Alright, give me a hint. I'll take the hint now. Oh wow, Yankees reportedly acquired David Bender. Padres, Freddie Furman. Ooh. Son, give me updates. Okay. he got in, but need to hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I'm just doing this to look at what I've got. No one knew about the... I feel like I've got it, but I don't. If that makes any sense. It's like I feel like it's right there. I'm just missing one little thing. Hold up. As I did for a reason. I figured the hold is meant to signify something, and my brain is just not putting that together for some reason. What am I missing? I feel like I'm right fucking there. And I stopped on this for no reason, so not that I'm thinking the ticket has anything to do with anything. Yeah, I can't think of it. I'm stuck. I'm going to it. Where is it? Letterbox. Oh, I was right there. I was on the right track. Trial and tribulations with the timestamp. Yep. Look at me on the timestamp. I was right there. I was on the right track with what I was thinking with the picture frame. I was on the right track. Oh, I'm so mad at myself for that one. I was on the right track with what I was thinking about. You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy in Candace the whole time.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have some proof.
Yeah, that I get your hint. Now, I was thinking elsewhere, but yeah. The hint, if I'd put it together, would have made sense. I hate that I knew I was on the right track. I knew I was on the right track with what my brain was telling me with the picture frame. But, yeah, my brain went the other direction. Yeah. I was on the fucking right track though with my brain thinking it's elsewhere. The poison is elsewhere. But I was so focused in on the 2-frame photo. On the 2-framed picture frame. I'm ready to give you the proof.
But what did you say?
I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
Saw him writing a letter. I did.
'Twas picked up by the mailman, I assume.
Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it.
A stamp!
As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp. Creepy ass fucking back image of him. I hate that it was so close.
No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age.
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the drug on the rim of the coffee mug?
He licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would get on his tongue. Yes. See, I was on the fucking right track. I knew the poison was on him already, and that's what led to the spot. That's why it's so precise, and that it's a slow acting. He died immediately. I hate that I was on the fucking right track. I was on the right track, just on the wrong side of it. Ugh. What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth? Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around.
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Measham. Mr. Measham poisoned the coffee mug himself.
Order! 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 But that doesn't... Does it?
Recall, if you would, the drug is a slow-acting poison. Yes, the poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. Atroquinine? Is that how it's pronounced? Troquinine? I'm still just gonna call it the drug. It's easier than me scrambling. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe.
Have something to add, Mr. Brushel?
Uh-oh. His nose is picking up another scent.
As I believe I mentioned earlier.
I know where the stamp was, too. I remember... The worst part of this is, not having played the game for 2 weeks now. I'm remembering where the postage stamp was. And I'm like, now it makes more sense.
But I don't seem to remember him ever finding one.
Maybe he'd just run out.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. Makes proving the stamp he used was poisoned possible. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Good show. Good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. It's not a real thing. I wouldn't think it is. Most of their stuff's not real. And remember, like all games, anything related to real stuff is just a coincidence, even though it's really, really close, and it seems like it is fully related to reality. We talked about this in Steins Gate. So, they kept making a point, they make a point at the beginning of the game to be like, hey, any references are just coincidence, and they make a lot of references that seem to be legit to stuff, and that's where I was like, remember guys, it's just a coincidence.
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp? Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean very little.
Persona 3 Reloaded's coming to the Switch too. It's good for the Switch too. It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection. So what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Drug residue!
What?
Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You weren't saying. Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps. God, I was on the right fucking track.
Order! Order! Order!
We are very close to the end of this, which is nice. Be real nice to finish this up today.
The poison stamp was in this frame.
Impossible.
Prosecutor Gavin.
Why would he put something like that on his desk?
Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if he moved struck.
You know, Can I say something? I had a thought, see?
What?
The voices are all intertwining now.
Watch, Mr. Brussel, and please stop jittering around like that.
No, we're close to the end of this section. That's what I'm happier about. Because if we can get a section done a stream, it's nice.
The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too, end quote.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him. Yeah, no, that tracks with the letter, actually, yeah.
Oh, Rich, that's rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Avenir song lyrics, please.
Finally, something we agree on.
The stamp was a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one.
Oh, I disagree.
Come again.
Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Measham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail?
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew read letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon.
Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon.
I might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together.
What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling.
I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I know how Mr. Measham was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Measham the stamp of death. If I'm right. Let me double check. Sign the papers and send the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp.
Isn't this the envelope, the one from 7 years ago?
Think about the text of the letter again. There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Oh.
In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp, poison, on the stamp, lick, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked?
He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his mailbox, in his letterbox.
15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew one last breath. And it went again and again. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite convenient, thanks to the postal system.
Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm the girl. Such a splendid imagination you have, Herr Fordhead.
Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago. Yeah. Is that what you'd have us believe? Really? Well,
It is a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility.
yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that then became the murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence?
Well, it was 7 years ago, and we don't even know who sent the letter.
And your answer is silence. I see. Very well. I move to... I can only think it's one person. It's not nice to pick on the Fraulein, Clavier.
Oh, fuck. She transformed. That was crazy. Did you see that? Did you see that magical girl transformation? That was crazy. Ah, Emma.
Well, like my Christoph Gavin impersonation? Did I sound like him?
Don't quit your day job.
Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fraulein Detective?
Someone had to come dig you all out of the mess you're making in this case.
Mass.
You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out if that stamp was in that envelope. Easy.
Care to explain yourself, Fraulein Detective?
Glare at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right?
That's right. The poison detection spray.
Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it on the authority of the court.
What the fuck do you want me to spray, man? Found it.
Well, won't you look at that?
No mistaking it. That's that drug residue.
I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. Why did this murder take place 7 years ago? Or why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago?
Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Measham figured it out.
Figured what out?
He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp.
And put his decisive evidence in a frame. You're still here?
Can I make a statement here on the record? I, Sparkle Razortooth Brucial, claim this scoop as mine. Drew Measham killed in cold blood. By sender of 7-year-old letter. End quote. No, maybe something more sufficient. Star falls after 7-year delay. End quote.
Order! 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 I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock, to think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp is ticket straight to the afterlife. End quote. Stamp is ticket straight to afterlife. End quote.
Uh-oh. I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant.
Apollo!
I think we just won.
Very well. This court finds the defendant.
Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for Gavinier shows are invalid after 2 weeks. That's got nothing to do with this shit, man.
But it doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in their forehead's claim.
Contradiction?
A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Meesham have done what he did? Emma explained that. He must have realized it was poisoned. Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Meesham cinched a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use the stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you do not mean to suggest that Mr. Meesham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprung the trap on himself? That right there killed the vocal cords. Whew.
While I admit this is all quite shocking myself, it does seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap that had been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Apollo!
Oh wow, James Altman to the Twins. Ooh. Wow, Cedric Mullins getting traded to the Mets. Where's Jaron when we need him? Alright, Jake Bird going from the Rockies to the Yankees. Alright. I want to see if this game's still going. Hey, it is. Oh, never mind. There's apparently still in a delay. So. Meh. Camarillo's still out there at least. Okay.
I don't think we're winning anymore.
I guess, I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. Ooh, there goes gravity. We've been waiting for you.
Okay,
Then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope?
A poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp begin? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed.
What about the drug residue, huh?
Oh, I agree, that does seem to be residue. Therefore then, it's certainly no stamp.
Yeah, but
even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Measham would never have used it. That is all. I believe we've come to a conclusion. Again.
Apollo! Were we wrong the whole time?
I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honor?
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Measham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison, that one, on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene. This tiny picture frame. The defendant has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it.
Yes, but even if the envelope contained a poison stamp, and Drew Measham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp.
I'm afraid you're right. Which means there is a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time. I'm sure of it. Traces of poison, the envelope, frame, Drew Measham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake.
Ah, a fake clue. Fascinating. And if we find this fake, Wild Fantasies will prove quite reasonable. Yeah?
I mean, I know the answer because I looked over and saw it, because I was just trying to keep track of where we were. The answer is this one. So I'm just gonna go with it, because I accidentally saw it.
The victim was a fake clue. I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself.
Congratulations. You've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger. Makes a good story. I'll give you that.
The fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries. Ah! I mean, everything else does track up. We know there was a stamp there. We know there's poison on the mug. We know all the other stuff. He is the only thing we have not seen.
I know that face. That's the I just had an idea face.
I don't know if I'm right. I'm going with it anyway. That is me and Apollo on the same fucking track right there. That is me every time we play this game. What if our forger is the fake? Come again. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into the very same trap
and dies. Why?
That's what I want to know.
Because the forger who was killed was a fake.
Here we are again. The victim was a fake.
One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's two forgers, and one of them was a fake.
Order! Order! Order!
So, you're telling us that Drew Measham, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? You'd better not be claiming that there was some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story, Mr. Justice. Show us just who the real Drew Measham was.
Drew Measham wasn't the real forger. I mean, there's really no other option right now. There's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Measham was himself a forgery. The real forger was the only other person that could have done it. There can be only one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger known as Drew Measham is none other than his only daughter, Vera Measham.
Order! 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 Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you.
Kinda agree. I mean, Vera, a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in the studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Measham's and Vera Measham's. If we know that Drew Measham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Measham. Well, we are going to finish this up because we're right at the end of this part. So we're going to finish this part up. Fascinating. Hi Vera, what up? Yep.
Vera Measham, you've been paying attention to the trial so far.
Yes, that's always what I think about when I see anything that says, one more thing. Whenever I see one more thing, that is the only thing I think about is Jackie's uncle from Jackie Chan Adventures. That is all I think about. That, and then of course you gotta get hit in the head. God, that show was so good.
Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger? Drew Measham.
Don't say anything, Vera. Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. It had no right to be as good as it was. That show was, oh man, that show was special. It was so good. It was so good. I love that show. Like, that was part of the Saturday morning lineup on WB.
and I never missed it. That was one of the shows you had to watch. Oh, so good. So good. I'm used to being stared at by Frauleins, believe me. Though they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art?
Yes.
So the forger Drew Measham was you?
Yes, it was me.
What?
What the fuck, can you believe that? Wait, yeah, what the hell, man? I can't believe that. This is crazy. Unbelievable. Man, she's kind of cute, though. There's gonna be that one guy that's more focused on that. What the hell? I can't believe it. The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. Bada bing, bada boom, we good. Jackie Chan Adventures in Pokemon. I always had to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! I always had to watch the new episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! So, let's go ahead and save. Go ahead and save here. Just to make it easy. Boom, that takes us to day 2. File. Whew. I did not think we were actually going to finish that trial today, so I'll take it. Then after that, we go into the flashback, which is nice. So, that is where we're going to call it for now. I think that we have to go through a flashback to get to day 3. Any more trades happening? Nope, not yet. Alright. Oh, you didn't like Dungeon Dice Monsters? Come on, man. Dungeon Dice Monsters with the shit with Duke Devlin? Hell yeah. I fucking love Dungeon Dice Monsters. Me and my boy IGS, we played that shit when it came out. The whole actual Dungeon Dice Monsters game. I loved it. Alright. That's going to bring us to an end of this one. Tomorrow, we're back at the Pokemon Ruby Randomized Hardcore Nuzlocke. And next week, we will probably have a little bit of a change. I'll talk about that, though, tomorrow or Monday. So, not going to be really any change until Wednesday. So, that's really it. We'll worry about that later. With that, though, Dash, Jam, appreciate you guys being here. Let me get the music going. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're watching after the stream, maybe do a stream of that. What, the Dungeon Dice Monsters game? I'm talking like the actual game, not like the Game Boy Advance game. Like, they came out with a legitimate Dungeon Dice Monsters game. And it was fun. It followed the same premise. They also did have a Game Boy Advance game come out, and I played that too. I enjoyed it. But with that, that brings us to the end. If you're watching on the YouTube or Twitch, appreciate you too. I think I've talked about all I need to talk about. Trying to think. Yep, I think so. Of how it works. I don't have it anymore, I don't think. So, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But it was cool when it was out. Back when we were like in middle school. It was cool as shit. It was awesome. With that, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you
next time.